I set this sucker to public, right? Yes, I did. Look at me.
So, you know.
Not forgetting
look
how
at
to
you.
do things after 2 weeks.
Ah, public suckers. Wait, we're a bunch of public suckers. It's,
Oh, I got my phone on too.
shut your shit off. Damn, dude. Justin,
Hey, man.
thanks for joining us. Yeah, prompt. After 2 weeks back, you're right on the ball. Thanks for
Yeah,
Indeed. Cheers.
Yeah, we've been lazy as shit. Apparently, Justin's been waiting, fighting at the bit for it. Yeah.
You're ready.
Yeah.
Damn.
Either way, what are you carrying tonight, there, my man? Anyone else trickling through? All the good times. Let us know. If you're watching ahead of the live stream and re-watching this, skip ahead roughly 15 minutes to get to the review for the latest Benchmade 2023 releases. Spoiler.
Yeah, they sure are the latest re-releases in some cases. Well, we'll get there.
Justin's carrying his S45 PM2 with steel scales.
I would. Yeah, that's the right choice.
That makes that knife a lot nicer. That's for sure.
Yeah. You know, the closer we are to getting our grubby little mitts on a military 2, the more it's looking like that thing does not come with a 45-degree chamfer around the handle.
Oh, you know how many companies are going to be just fighting at making military 2 scales.
Oh, dude, I am ready for it.
I am ready to take it all in.
Oh my god.
Like a Flytanium Lotus pattern? I'm into it.
If I could get that in a military 2, yeah.
Stop saying imaginary things. Come on.
Well, to be honest, I'd be heavily tempted to go with something titanium. I mean, I like the idea of the carbon fiber, but I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. This body is ready. Yeah, pretty much. Maybe
Somebody.
not.
We're just at a video
I'm not the host. Hey, no, don't make me the host. That's a terrible idea.
Sorry for the hiccups, guys. I have no idea what's going on. My laptop is showing a strong connection, but browsers keep cutting out. It's weird. It's a weird time.
We're back.
Welcome back.
I've hijacked this live stream as host. Apparently it was all my fault.
Good evening.
Knocked you down a peg or two. That's what happened in the hierarchy of things. Working my way to the top.
Is that what that is?
I guess. I don't know.
Joe's like looking around. Oh, this is the top, eh?
Yeah, this is what I've worked so hard for, huh?
Son of a bitch. I feel like I've been slightly misled somehow.
Say.
Right?
Who's carrying what? Anyone fancy? Anyone saving stuff?
I wasn't really saving it, but I was the reason we were clear last week, so I can go first.
All right.
Okay.
I was enjoying the BC knife in BC.
I see.
Yeah, I had my north arm.
No, BC.
BC. You know, AC
Very
BC. That's a lot of the details out of this. Anyway, yeah, no.
Oh, that got washed straight out.
There was carbon fiber to look at. Thank you very much.
There we go. They're doing a much better job of engraving their logos now. They're not using the single point engraver. I think they're actually using like a little diamond bit. I think Paul's looks a lot nicer, to be honest.
Let's find out.
Let's find
just
out.
Disappeared into the lilacs there.
Yeah, you know.
The wildflowers.
That's how I want to die one day. Just disappearing into the lilacs. Oh,
Can
we're not.
you even see it?
No. We're gonna have to rely on you telling us whether it's any better or not, because
the leaf is fully colored in is a big difference.
Right. Yeah, instead of it just being the outline.
Yeah,
I could see
yeah.
that.
Oh, Ben chased you to BC, but he brought his Adamas. Actually, what was previously your Adamas. So you had a BC reunion with your own knives
It wasn't
and
his.
his.
I was gonna say mine ended up in Alex's pocket. This one came from.
Oh, this was a bulk purchase for
It's for the bulk, yeah.
the
The half, sorry.
channel. Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. I remembered these days. Good times. Good times.
Remember sometimes.
I was not in BC this weekend, but I was slightly closer to BC. We went out to Banff and hiked around and looked at pretty mountains and waterfalls, and yeah. Then came home again today.
I thought you said I drowned. I was like, intense.
I got better.
I drowned, looked around. Apparently, those are the same thing in my brain.
I'm here, so it worked out.
Whatever you say, Ghost.
Straight up, no reflection. But as always, anywhere I'm with, hiking anywhere. I was carrying a dragonfly. Yeah, so,
Very nice.
yeah.
Very nice.
In the K390.
In the finest of K390s. I did a touch-up finally with the Ultrafine.
Okay.
It was cutting paper a little jaggy. There was 2 or 3 little snaggy spots, so a little Ultrafine and a little strop brought it back pretty damn quick. But
I was gonna say, I assume it's not that way anymore. Bison. Yeah.
It's a scalpel again. Yeah, it didn't take much. I'm like, look, it's back 2 years to go, like, or whatever it's been. Yeah. Every 2 years, you've got to touch it 6 times with an Ultrafine, as long as you don't abuse it. Like, it's and touch it 6 times with an Ultrafine is there's got to be a saying in there somewhere. It's
Sorry, there's certainly something. I was gonna say the day the K390 is available in a DLC option from Spyderco, I will be picking one up. Yeah.
That's fair. You would destroy it.
I have. Would you like to see my Spyderco police after cleaning it?
Sure.
And then you can tell me that, oh, that's not clean.
Hey, you know what I should do with this dragonfly?
It's a ruddy patina. I mean, there used to be actual red rust all over this thing, so this is still
I was going to
better.
say, but you got that one already semi-patinaed, so someone had tried to stop you from doing what you were doing, right? Like, it's,
Yeah, then I sweat on it. And
just gun blew it, Joe.
I really should go over this thing with like 3,000 grit sandpaper or something and just give her.
I think so.
I was about to make a smart ass about changing the wire clip to some sort of milled or a Rips Garage Tech clip, because it would probably be just as suitable on this knife as it is any knife that Paul would think about putting his on. So anyway,
how mad would you be if I gave it to Joe for that knife?
For the police? Well, one, it wouldn't work, so I would be.
You can have it, Dennis, but your stipulation is you have to put it on the dragonfly.
Yeah, that
sounds
like
a fair trade. Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Every time I'm out in public, I gotta swap clips back. Tell you, it's bullshit. The rest of the time, it's sitting on my sleesh bowie. So,
does that home flicking it?
Yeah, carry it on days where Paul's not at work. All right, that I guess rounds us out. Paul, what are you carrying on these chilly glacier days of yours?
Oh, just want to quickly shout out the fact Dick Richards is carrying his Holdout 3 in XHP, which, if you're going to get one, that's the right one to get.
If you can, yeah.
I didn't do anything exciting this weekend, so my photo is from a couple weekends ago when we did exciting things.
I see.
We went camping, and I took an Arrakis out in the woods to see what I could see through my Arrakis.
Yeah,
Kapow.
You did.
Indeed.
And it was the hand of God, I think, is what he saw through the Arrakis, I think. I'm not 100% sure.
That
was there, but we were looking at 2 very different things. So it's,
yeah, that was later in the evening.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But yeah. This is my religious knife.
It's very holy.
Nice.
It's very holy.
Lemmy, thanks for joining us as well. Koenig
Hey.
Arius
Cheers,
is a
buddy.
damn fine knife to be carrying.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Shit. Nice.
Thick
Um,
2Cs, thick. Anyway.
Sheath.
I
Sheath real
did.
thick.
I did also send Joe a couple other photos just from camping because, reasons.
I see.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Like
Just-
cute little bunnies and delicious ribs.
I was going to say, is one of them
Okay.
ribs? One of them better be ribs. And it wasn't ribs of the bunny.
Bunny.
We've already been asked this, surprisingly enough, or not surprisingly. Anyway, yeah. Tiny
But yeah.
ribs. Rabbits have tiny ribs.
I was gonna say,
might
like,
come
who
with
was
it.
asking that these ribs came out of that rabbit?
My mom, for one.
Really?
Throw her under the
Oh.
bus immediately, yeah.
For shame. That's right. I'm ashamed of them.
But yeah,
Those ribs
They,
are delicious, though.
probably one of the best ribs I've ever had in my life, quite honestly. They were delicious.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever replicate that again. But that's the best part, is it'll be delicious next time too, in a completely different way. It'll be great. Like it's
100%.
And you notice in the last picture we made our own cutting boards that you just burn afterwards. It solves itself. It's
Made our own cutting boards. We're using bark here as twine to hold the ribs to the sticks.
Right, right. It's almost like
You
we're
know?
being resourceful or some shit, you know?
well, except for the metal tongs sitting next to it. We're not creative in the slightest when it comes to
No,
certain
look,
things.
I feel like somebody was packing and they're like, I'm not fucking around in the woods. Just
Or
grab the
for
metal
a couple
tongs.
years, someone has a pair, and you make sure it's like
it's just you don't have to rough it in every way. I'm sure we
Slide-
could make tongs if we needed to.
yeah. But ribs. Anyway,
Ribs, they were phenomenal.
Absolutely.
they're not an Arrakis though.
No. For some reason, this one shows up really good on camera.
What helped you see the hand of God more, the Arrakis or the ribs?
Well, the ribs. At this point, this is later in the night. You see.
I appreciate the minimal hesitation before. Like, oh no, the ribs.
Yeah, no, this was fun times early in the day. Both
Yeah.
ribs. That'll change your life.
Very impressive.
Indeed. I was going to include a photo of the stars that I took, but to be honest, I saw a photo that Ben took of the stars, and it was much prettier, so I didn't bother.
Like, you know when you've been thoroughly upstaged.
Yeah, I was
Damn
like,
you for setting the bar, sir.
yeah.
That's funny.
All right. Yeah. So 7:30, you says we got
I
close.
Hey, look at that. We're
About that
right
time.
there.
I know.
Look at us go.
It's okay. We did okay.
But yeah, people watching should definitely go over and check out the sky shot that Ben took. It's very pretty.
I don't even know if I saw that. I'll
Yeah.
go over. We'll see. I'll probably forget.
Yeah. Just bombard his DMs there, Ben. Send it 85 times.
I mean, obviously,
Just-
you should do these things.
Tag me in your stories. It's fine. It's like it, damn it. Anyway,
Looking at it.
so we are at 7:30. Let's dive in here, boys. Benchmade 2023. There's some things.
Yes.
Some thanks.
Yeah. It's August though, so we're still waiting for some other things. That Super Freak Swaparoo is still a vague distance thing, it seems like. But what they did come out with was, 2.5-ish models, I guess.
Sure.
Good number
that
of models.
that sounds
not-
appropriate.
It's funny too, because there's a couple models that could be the half model, but I had one in my mind, and now I thought about it. I'm like, or that one. So
Which direction are we starting?
Well, I'm just going through getting some Benchmade website pages ready, but I've got the photos that Dennis sent as well.
Do we want least to say or most to say? I think we should do least to say to begin with.
Sure.
And in my opinion, I think the least to say, I don't know, 945.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's probably a decent place to start.
I mean, it's a tie for that 0.5.
Look,
Yeah.
we got to make people stick around, watch all the way to the end.
Well,
This is the way it's going to work. Least to best.
So, yeah, 945, something dash something. Wait, I know these things. Dash 2. Yeah, why they got to be like that?
That
yeah,
actually, that pissed me off. Yeah.
Assholes.
Wait. So
Because BK dash 1 already exists.
But the bug out, they do BK-1-2-3, and they do without the BK numbered dashes.
Yeah, it's
no. The odd naming is also the flavor of the season.
I actually don't know if I just search up Osborne if I'll get the
So yeah, what should be a dash 1 is actually a dash 2 because dash 2 should be a G10 one. But they went backwards on the whole damn thing. And now the numbers don't make sense. Here we are. Way to go, Benchmade.
And that's it. That's all we have to say. No, but
what if we just, like, as a community, all decide to just call it the 945-1 and bully Benchmade into renaming it?
Renaming them now that they all exist? Can you properly rename them? What's going to happen is they're going to discontinue them for next year and scare everyone because they're just going to re-release them with the new numbers.
Oh, God.
See?
And it'll strike fear in everyone and there'll be a mad panic to buy a whole bunch of 945s.
And they'll make this one super collectible for the guys that bought them early.
Also, I hate navigating their goddamn website now.
I just use the search.
I do too. It's still awful. It's actually terrible.
Their new website too.
I did a 945 dash to find it. Is where
I hate it. I hate it. But how do you explain this? There's a section here that's the 940 Osborne Green Aluminum. You click down and it's another 940. Another 940, another 940, or I'm sorry, no, the two automatic versions, and then at the bottom is the 945 mini. What carbon fiber? Doesn't make any sense. None of these things are the same thing.
Okay, so they rushed to put this. I think what happened is they rushed to put this out and they put it in the wrong category. They put it in the wrong family.
I think so.
I think this is actually a Benchmade error.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this yet. You caught it, not me, because I've just given up on Benchmade's website and trying to search for things.
Breaking news.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
So if you can't find it on their website, don't worry. I don't think you were meant to.
I don't think you were meant to. Just buy it from Cutting Edge Gallery Code.
Yeah.
You can put it on our website.
We know competitive pricing and everything. Look at that.
We know how to categorize and organize shit on our website. It's
if you ask for 945, it might even come up as a dash 1 because that's the way. No, it won't. We've got it properly named. Don't worry about it.
God. Okay, so naming conventions aside, here's your comparison photo.
So I'm really happy about this whole thing because not only was my daily carry my Dragonfly, which I share with my whole family, and I'm super jazzed about that we all have a version of, but now I get to sneak my irrelevant size comparison 3 times into this conversation. So yeah, good times.
That's good stuff. Was that also your full size 940 on top? Because you own one of those too.
No, that's actually just the stock one from the shelf. Mine doesn't
finish.
Yeah. Different finish because they keep them on their toes, but also mine has less of a choil. No, it's the plunge is way more plungy.
Sharpen back a bit, hey?
That happens. Yeah.
So size comparison. What is it like? They dropped a ½ inch off the blade, a ½ inch off the handle, basically the same as what they did with a PM2 to a PM3. Is that safe to say ish?
It's about the same sort of size, yeah.
I would give you the little 2-minute shortcuts that we've been doing, but I don't really think we need to do that in this particular conversation because, again, this is just a re-release of a 945. If you want to watch 945 reviews, go back and look at Mini Osborne 945 reviews.
We definitely talked about it at some point.
I figured we weren't going to be doing timed anything tonight, because of essentially all re-releases. But yeah, we kind of theorized this was going to happen as soon as the 940 mini, like the mini 940 originally was announced. We're like, okay, so it's only a matter of time until they do this. We just didn't think it was going to be what, like 3 years, 2 years. How's that? How long has it been? It's been a
They
bit.
really rode the bug out, bailout, something train for a few extra years before they went back to their 940s. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I imagine there must have been some strategizing where they kind of realized where it's like, okay, all the attention's on the bug out right now. We don't want to blow our wad early and then have guys not excited about it. Probably better to save it. I could easily imagine that sort of occurrence.
I have no doubt that there was some of that at play for sure, but I think too with that was like right in the middle of the pandemic. So most companies were just kind of coasting. And so they might have even had these designs already pre-made, ready to go as soon as they wanted to go. They just held off until things were a little more secure.
And
That's possible.
because
Yeah.
we are supposed to actually be some sort of YouTube reviewers, I did look up some specs. It's 2.9 on the mini and it's 3.4 on the full size. So yeah, you'd get a half an inch on the blade. Overall, the full sized is 7.8. The mini is 6.8. So yeah, you lose
A full
inch overall, half and half. Look at me be all like close to my measurements without actually looking.
There you go. So whereas the full stock thickness between the two is still the same, isn't it? It's like the 3 mil roughly.
It is 2.6 for a stock blade. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a little thinner than the full size. I want to say the full size is up to 3, but yeah. Nice to see with a bit of a smaller blade. You're probably roughhousing it with it. Yeah. Is this? Sorry, Paul. Go for it.
Go ahead, give her.
Oh, I was just gonna say, do you think this is a little too late for 940 collectors?
So yeah, I was gonna say actually when you were talking about like riding the train and coming back to this and whatever, I mean there's a fine line between missing the boat and having a flash black, and this one is borderline. Like you've already come out with a 9 or a mini bug out with S90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're throwing back to this, and this was probably sitting on the back burner for a while, and it's an easy platform to come out with this. And people were probably asking, when are you going to come out with a variation of it? So, I mean, it was probably meant to happen, but you're right on like probably the last year you could get away with it and people would care.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, especially since like how many other small-ish models does Benchmade have with those materials?
Oh,
yeah. No, absolutely. That's what I was going to say is that if I was going to pick this or a bug out, the mini bug out, I'm probably going to pick the thinner slicier bug out blade. So you're kind of competing with yourself at that point because of all the variation of the same.
Yeah, now I could say this is being set up for a platform of a 940 carbon fiber S90 auto. Might be the next on the platform. It might be because they have to release this one first before they release the carbon fiber auto version. It's just a sequential thing that they have to do, and the timing of this one would make sense if they have an auto version, whether it's a carbon fiber mini auto or a carbon fiber full size auto that they have in the books for next year. That this would actually make sense that they're releasing this with this timeline in mind, right? So
yeah.
But that's just me theorizing about imaginary things. So, and again, Joe, I just looked it up because you were asking about blade stock thickness, 2.92 on the full size, 2.6 something on the mini.
So,
quick shout out to reduction. What up?
Hello, hello.
Hello.
What up? What up?
Yeah, I honestly, I think as far as that half inch in shrinking, I would much rather have that half inch on the handle still.
Yeah.
Put it in like a fox tur kind of ratio, and it wouldn't bother me in the slightest, but the handle's too short for me.
Guys get weird about knives not having 1-to-1 ratios or close to, though, so I'm not sure
Yeah, with this particular model, it's skinny enough. I think the full size, and I mean, I have the same feeling about the bug out, and some people like the little 3-finger mini much more. So I mean, yeah, to each their own. But I also think that it's a skinny enough platform that the extra whatever length doesn't fill up your pocket nearly as much as.
It's a half inch when it's folded closed, right? Like that, all that it's changing in your pocket. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's not a hell of a lot. But that's also us being biased because we all carry silly knives in our pockets sometimes. I'm probably on the least, well, as far as size goes, even.
yeah,
I'm probably on the most modest size of things, and I'll even still rock a Contigo from time to time type of, yeah, let's.
I was debating carrying my 6-inch cold steel paradox today. So yeah, you're
Well, why wouldn't you, right? Like,
the thing's like 7 goddamn inches
there's
long.
so many, there's so many why wouldn't yous, but yeah.
There's a lot of good answers to that question.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What were you saying?
I don't know, but it's disappearing in the meadow.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
There it is. It's just disappearing. It's the hand of God just trying to take it from you. Yeah, speaking of ridiculous knives. Anything else to actually say about this? Yeah, it's a thing. If you like it,
one other thing, what was the blade length again on this guy?
3.2.
2.92.
2.92. That is one good reason for this knife to exist. There are still places in the world where you can have a locking folder as long as it's under 3 inches. Okay. That.
Yeah.
Sure.
The pro that I said to someone about it is if you're looking for something a little bit tougher, a guy was asking me mini carbon fiber bug out versus mini carbon fiber Osborne, pros and cons. I said if you're looking for the slicier knife and you want the S90 full potential, blah, blah, blah type of thing, I would probably go with the mini bug out. If you're looking for something a little bit durable, but you don't want the green aluminum mini, then the carbon fiber mini is probably the next step up. But you're not going to get the same edge performance or probably the same reaction on the blade stock thickness as you would on the bug out. So I said at that point, when you're keeping the blade that thick, you might just go with a S30 version, whether it's a G10 or whether it's an aluminum on a mini because of the. Anyway,
having experienced 940 S90 versus other S90 in your collection, would you say that it performs better when it's thinner and slicier? Does it like hold an edge for longer?
Well, I've got a bug out with S90 too, right? So as far as Benchmade's S90 and 940's S90, it's kind of chunky, right? It's kind of a thicker blade. And I've done a little bit to change that as far as performance goes. But it's not going to be an S90 native. It's not going to be an S90 bug out. It's, yeah. So
okay, but like that matches your own personal experiences. What
blade geometry is just she's more chonk. Yeah,
that tracks.
So, but if you want to be stupid and pick boots from your rocks from your hiking boots when you come home from a hike with your 940, the reverse Tanto, nice thick tip with S90, you could do it and be an idiot before you realize you should probably just be using a twig. I'm not saying from personal experience, but I'm not saying from personal experience either. So it's.
Look, we've talked before about that spade blade profile, and it was meant to be a work knife. If you're going to be rough with it, that's kind of what it was designed for.
Use what you got at hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a twig right there. Use that, idiot.
Yeah. It takes 30 seconds not even to carve down.
Look, it takes 30 seconds.
That was my answer too.
But I'll still go out my teeth with my knife first.
I still don't like that.
Yeah, nobody does.
So anything else with this bad boy that we want to say?
Typical should have been done earlier, Benchmade. Other than that,
they should have ridden the 940 hype before the bug out was even a thing, and this would have sold crazy.
There might have been some S90 availability issues. We've got some Hunt series that we're plugging as well. So maybe to come up with demand on numbers about new Hunt series stuff. Yeah, I know. I'm segueing you, son of a bitch. God damn it. So, Grizzly Ridge, Grizzly Creek, whatever. What is this one? I don't even know. It's a grizzly.
It's a grizzly creek.
There. How's that for a segue, you son of a bitch? So you ruined it.
It was fantastic, and I didn't do shit.
It's not S90. Yeah.
No, it's not. What is it?
It's S30.
It's not lefty friendly.
Don't worry about it. I can Spidey flick a gut hook, man.
I was going to say my favorite part about it is the seatbelt cutter.
Spidey flicking a gut hook is the worst, most gross sentence I've heard today, and I love it, but awful.
I'm gonna get Dexter Spatter artwork out of this thing when you're Spidey flicking a gut hook. Like,
I could definitely thumb flick it, so I can see why you'd be able to Spidey flick it.
Good God! All right.
So yeah, relevant size comparison. There you go. Okay, something to note on this guy. A couple changes with that. The angle of the gut hook has changed to definitely be angled away from anything that might get punctured as you're playing with it. Yeah, just because of the way that you're holding the handle and the way that you would naturally sit. Yeah, so good stuff. Yeah, makes me happy when I like to see that type of thing. But yes, you were noting no left-handed screws on this bad boy. There's no lanyard also on this bad boy. I think one of the only Hunt series that doesn't come with a lanyard option. Because again, gut hooky. Yeah. So
don't need a bunch of stuff flowing in there for sure.
And if anyone wasn't familiar with the Grizzly Creek, it is a re-release. It previously had a recurve, mild recurve, hint of a recurve. No orange pivot collar and no orange G10 backspacer.
What was the backspacer originally?
Black plastic?
Sure. I don't know.
Remember.
More plastic wood?
Yeah.
The diamond wood, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's the brand name. If I remember correctly, the recurve was not terribly substantial. Like, for those who have watched and have seen such knives as like the Akoma Fossil from CRKT, or something like the Microtech Amphibian that Dennis and I had, those are some pretty obvious recurves. On this one, it was pretty subtle to begin with, like to the point where like it barely looked intentional. I think this is a much better way to go, where it's very much just a straight old blade. And you could recurve it if you want to, after the fact.
So, just to throw it in there, the Grizzly Ridge was the gray VersaFlex handle with the orange insert.
Oh, did I say
it had a mild? No, I did earlier. I couldn't keep track of. It had a mild recurve, but it was also the same blade shape as well, type of thing, just to clarify from earlier. But yes, both of those knives did exist, but that was that gray handled one that we had once upon a time.
I'm happy to see that they have jimping further, like, halfway up the spine. Makes itself
past the bend test.
No, this knife's much too large for a bend.
It's like
the blade's too long, but where his finger would land, it would still land on the jimping. Is what I was trying to say.
It'd land right on the jimping, and he's like, right there, cut it there.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
Right, next year they'll come out with a mini Grizzly Ridge. It's fine. Cut a half-inch off it.
I kind of really hate that. But I can also see it selling, so...
Yeah. It's called the North Fork. You just have to add a gut hook.
North Fork, yeah.
Well, that's just what a smaller Grizzly Creek is a North Fork. But they had a recurve. You have to re-release it. You have to do just exactly what they did with this knife, where they re-release it, but they pretend like it's not a re-release, and they actually pretend like it's a brand new knife for this year. In any video that you watched at the beginning of the SHOT Show, no one talked about the differences between...
The people talking about it probably didn't work at the company when the knife originally existed and didn't know, therefore.
Well, and that was kind of my lead up. Yeah. It's
funny.
Basically, I don't believe that anyone that was involved in the makings of said videos realized what the differences were, so they just glazed over. And they were like, also new for this year, this knife. And then let's talk about the 9 colors of bug outs that we've come out with. Like, it's, so.
Have there been, like, major shakeup in upper management at Benchmade? Following...
let me ask my upper Benchmade connections.
Well, you gotta wonder because like just the way they handle a lot of this information.
Where's
There's-
CPM when you need them?
Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah, I don't know. They're doing some things.
Would you say that this is a recommendable knife, Dennis? Would you say that this is?
Well, we're going to come on to the last part of is the pivot collar worth the extra $50? And obviously, it always is. It always is worth the extra $50, which is probably what they bumped it compared to previous models of the Grizzly Creek. Now that it has a pivot collar, and less
Not
steel.
the recurve.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that was what I was going to say. Is knocking out the recurve and making it easier to sharpen and adding a price point. Yeah. So
I was going to say not having the recurve is worth the $50 to me. I don't care about the orange pivot collar, but
Benchmade wants you to care. That's where the cost is coming in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That would be my biggest gripe about it is like, yeah, fix the recurve on it. And maybe you can just say it's 2023 pricing and blame it on that. But I'm pretty sure this was a $200 American knife somewhere along the way when it first came out. So, or not even first came out, just like recently when it was discoed or changed or whatever.
For reference, it's $275 American right now. It's
Yes, for the new version, correct?
yes, yeah. Even with
So
the dead hook and the
recommendable?
diamond wood. Well, that's
Yeah, I like it. Motives behind it? No, I don't like it. It's
no.
So, but I also owned a North Fork, and it was okay, but it was always just a hint too small, and I would always lean towards my mini Griptilian if I was grabbing some sort of mini knife, and so it was getting passed by the wayside. I always thought to myself, probably the bigger one would probably get carried more because it wouldn't get neglected as much as that guy did. So
yeah.
I've always leaned towards this one in the family of wood-handled Benchmade folders, Crooked River being far too pricey nowadays. So yeah, back to which one I would pick out of Benchmade wood-handled hunting series folders. This probably would be top two, probably.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's one other one that I can think of that we might end up talking about later on tonight. That I might pick over this one. But as far as a folding hunting knife, this kind of checks all the boxes for what I'm looking for in that.
Yeah. Well, and I had mentioned wood-handled offerings in the Benchmade series, right? Because they've got 4 or 5 or something. Yeah, I think 4. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely in the grizzly, in the like Saddle Mountain Skinner kind of family, as opposed to the like Meat Crafter family, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It certainly does. And this is again more of a callback to even the older series, which was the Bone Collector series. And this knife existed with a D2 blade and a gut hook and a wood handle with walnutty, and it was a Bone Collector at that point in time, right? So
can you imagine how much people would bitch these days if you released a hunting knife with D2?
Yeah.
It's gonna rust away. Come on.
Don't let Joe touch it. Jesus.
Oh, yeah, but your first mistake was getting you to hold your D2 knives. Come on.
Yeah. Well, no, my first mistake was taking Joe hunting. So.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Why are we out here right now? This is a terrible place to be. Joe's got 14 knives on him right now.
Why am I picturing Joe dressed exactly like Elmer Fudd?
He jingles every time he takes a step.
It's halfway through the day, you realize a bunch of the guns are missing, and so is Joe. Oh, great.
The predator had turned up and taken him out.
See, I had always. What's that?
Go ahead. I was going to say clearly the worthy warrior with all his weapons.
You hear me jingling behind a tree.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the blade stock on this guy always struck me as a little bit thicker than I would have expected for a hunting knife.
Well, okay, so the other thing with Benchmades, and especially their S30, is you got to remember down in the States, they got the Bass Pro Shops. I think Benchmade might be in some of the Walmarts down in some of the States type of idea. Like you are pandering to a crowd that's going to, yeah, maybe do some prying and not be the most careful with their knife and try to
I
get the
bet
job
you
done
could.
in 7 minutes. So,
Yeah,
Hey, that's a deep cut.
I bet you could bounce this S30 off a bone and not chip it.
Well, and I wanted to not be the one to say this because I don't hunt, so it's good to hear that from you guys. But
well, 3.15 mil stock thickness is what we're looking at on that guy. So, I mean, on the S30. Now, here's the other thing. Speaking of S30, we discovered just recently on this bad boy, this is probably the most notable thing about this whole goddamn knife. This sumbitch select edge
yes,
In S30.
in S30. It's the only offering in S30, and both on the website and on the boxes, it's claiming that it is a 14 degree. Now, I don't know if Joe's come in there with all his nerdy equipment to actually double check this information.
I have not. No,
You were off for a week, I'll give it to you, but it's been there for. You might not know that it did come in, but
I did see it on the box, but you know what I wanted to order was there's a little device you can get that shines a laser at a knife edge, and you can set it a given distance away from a back wall, and it'll deflect the laser to show you what the actual sharpened angle is. I want one of those.
You're gonna shoot a katana with a bullet, is what you're gonna do, right?
Oh yeah, I'm working my way up to that, but I'm gonna start with lasers because that seems a lot more safe.
That seems like a much smarter idea.
Just a touch. But that honestly, that was really surprising to see that written on the box there. Just given Dennis's previous experience with Benchmade's S30V done up to a 17 roughly degree edge, if I recall correctly.
I don't know. It's a Contigo. Where is it? It's so much. It was high. It could have been more. No, it's probably not anymore. Actually, looking at what I have done in the past and what it is, it's probably not more than a 17. And yeah, it'll roll. It'll roll like a some bitch.
Mind you, you were pressing that into wood rather than using.
I was betoning and I hit a little bit of naughty stuff, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't that naughty. It's
just a little naughty.
Yeah, it's still getting Christmas presents. It's fine.
Yeah. So gotta wonder if Benchmade's done anything at all different with their heat treatment process in order to up the resilience, I guess. The only thing I can think of is maybe the the Nimravus. We just called it a Contigo. Maybe the Contigo was done to a lower Rockwell, given that it's a fixed blade, and this is done to a slightly higher Rockwell. On that note, I actually don't see on their website. Oh no, it says right here 58 to 60 Rockwell, which is their standard. So I don't know.
Right. But it's very interesting that they chose to give this thing a select edge. It's the only S30 that does in their entire catalog.
Yeah.
I take back my comments about it surviving hitting bone.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that's why it's 3 mil thick.
Yeah,
it's because it's pandering to all of the crowds, and the guys who nick bone and have to resharpen it probably won't realize it's at a select edge to resharpen it to a 20, and that'll work itself out. It's fine.
Some of those famous self-solving problems.
What's that? Sorry?
The guy's just going to think the edge is a little burnt. They resharpen it to 20 degrees, and it works fine. They'll be like, yeah, it was just a little burnt. It's fine.
Benchmade's edge are chippy.
Yeah, we'll have to listen to the grapevine for that one.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely sit on the reviews on this knife. Just keep tabs on.
And I'm curious.
Yeah.
So, anything else notable? I don't know. Weight wise, what is it? I don't know. It's enough.
Have like there we go. Few specs.
4, 5.
Do I not see a weight here?
I am not seeing a weight.
It's none of your goddamn business. That's what it is.
No, you don't ask a woman or a grizzly bear weight, apparently. That's a little
nice.
Weird. Yeah. Don't know what to think about that because I'm pretty sure the rest of their stuff has weight available. Oh, hey, spoilers. Where's their specs? Yeah, they talk about the weight somewhere on this. Oh, maybe they just say lightweight underneath, and that's why. Yeah, they don't actually give a weight on the Mini 9 Mini Osborne either.
Remember when they used to tell you all about their weights for like the bug out and stuff?
Yeah,
you know how remember when they were actually prepared for a release date, like throughout the year and everything, like not just like
I don't remember. It's been so long.
Tell me about the good old days.
Yeah,
My first years in the shop.
Yeah, no shit, hey.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
well,
yeah. So next knife.
Yeah.
Speaking of hunting.
Indeed.
Bam.
And select edges on not S30V.
And I don't know why, but I definitely feel this one is more in the Meat Crafter family.
Which is funny because it's just a G10 Crooked River, but shh.
It certainly is.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that too much more loudly, though. Even though...
It has a 3.5 ending, not an 8.0 or an 8.5, or you hush your face.
It's got S45 is what it's got. The goodness at 14 degrees.
It does. It sure does.
Hey, third size comparison. Good times.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm salty about with this knife is the thumb stud.
Yes. I was just about to say the one change that I don't agree with on this knife is the switch to a thumb stud, and I suppose to a lesser extent the change of the grind. I don't know why, but and you can see it in this picture. It's not a full flat with a like a swedge clip. It's a saber grind on the new version.
They needed somewhere to put the thumb stud.
Yeah, I don't like it.
They needed a flat. They needed a flat.
That's exactly
you can't do that. They can't do that with a full flat grind. Yeah. It's angular. They'd have to mill the thumb studs all weird. They'd have to come up with a whole new design. They'd have to put that hovering like thing that people do nowadays, where you just put the thumb stud into that oval hole.
I'm still not a fan of that. Okay. So the only justification that really made sense to me was clamping sharpening systems becoming cheap and readily available through Worksharp in particular. That might make more sense to have a saber grind, and to have longer flats like that. It doesn't bother me all that much. It's just it seems like a downgrade in a skinning knife going from the full flat.
I have a theory. Now, the tagged out, I've always kind of joked around that they couldn't call it the lightweight Crooked River because they would offend old people. Old cowboys would be like, that's not a buck 110. This is supposed to replace my buck 110, and that's plastic, and now you've just ruined it like you did with the plastic buck 110. How dare you? So they kept it as a tagged out. It was in the bug out family, in the bailout family, in the tagged out family, right? So, and then this...
Let's see.
Is now a saber grind with a thumb stud, which is conveniently very, very a little bit closer to a Crooked River. Just a hint.
Are you saying that there's going to be a wood version of this coming out in the next year or two?
There's a carbon fiber and a Magna Cut. Maybe we might creep over into a Crooked River category with a bolster and some carbon fiber and an orange Magna Cut. Maybe we'll cross blend and Savivi will make a version and so will we. Who knows? Like it's... Wait, no.
It's like
we've gone off track.
Somehow still tracks. I can see it. Yeah.
It'll be the new drop bear. It's fine.
Wow.
The drop bear. Yeah, it'll become an adjustable Omega Springs too. Yeah. So the one thing I was going to say is the Crooked River does have thumb studs with a saber grind, just like this particular version of a tagged out. If you've seen. Now, I don't know if you can bring up a picture of a Crooked River just to show it off a little bit. Something that caught my eye that's super weird. Is butterfly placement. Now, okay, you put a thumb stud on here, and that's cool. But when you look at a Crooked River, and you got a thumb stud,
Mm-hmm. I can
You're
already
the-
see where
You
yeah.
got a butterfly, like half in the grind in front of the thumb stud type of thing, right?
Sometimes.
Sometimes it's not half in the grind. Sometimes it's above the grind. Sometimes it's half in the grind, but in front of the thumb stud. Either way, right?
Yes.
So, is this again trying to keep solidarity with a tagged out by keeping your butterfly below the thumb stud, even though it's on a saber grind now, and you can't lean that much into a crooked river to be like, whoa,
I
whoa.
guess. I
I don't know.
guess
I
maybe
just don't
only.
know.
Well, I mean, the butterfly is lasered into the same position on the orange one, right? So
But it's not a flat grind, so you'd think on the clamping system that I would have to laser etch the thing, it would be probably closer to a crooked river clamp system too. Again, it's just things you notice that I'm like, why are you messing with it? Why are you wrinkling my brain? Just moving things. They're like, here, let's mess with some dudes.
They got magnet chunks.
Yeah,
It's
how's
fine.
that? Yeah.
I imagine they have a whole team. It's like, okay, how do we piss off the greatest number of our fans while still selling knives?
No. They have a team that goes, how do we confuse the fuck out of Dennis?
Specifically,
We
that
will
fucking
get
guy.
him.
Yeah.
They're coming for your
It's not a team of people though.
It's Mark from accounting.
It's Mark.
Fuck Mark. Yeah. If you're a Mark out there, get a better name.
Next time I have a hiring, it's going to be a Mark.
You heard it here
Anyway.
first, Mark. Eat shit.
I'm just gonna like put an X on a paper, and if he's like, "What the hell is that?" But like, it's your name. It's a mark.
Make your mark. Yeah. It's your maker's mark. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
All right.
So, just for the record, do we have a weight on the orange tagged out? Can you find that?
We don't got weight for shit, man.
Oh yeah, we don't have weight on anything. Sorry, never mind.
It's wiped from
Sorry.
their goddamn product lineup. It's fantastic.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I have some important news. CJLA cleaned out his PM2 finally. Congratulations.
What did you find? How was it?
How much
like,
changed?
Like
yeah,
changing the
exactly.
couch
Is there
cushion,
enough to
yeah.
get a Slurpee out of the deal? Like it's.
I hope so.
The answer is
The old lint Slurpee.
so something I just noticed as Joe was looking at specs, and he briefly looked at specs and then moved back away from it, so you guys didn't actually see. But check the sharpened angle on this one. You'd think it would be 14-degree select edge.
Is it
Whoa,
not?
Hold on. I'm sorry. What?
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, I just noticed it. I just noticed it as we went there because we're all dumb and we didn't notice this.
Sharp.
As YouTube reviewers, we're
Hold
going
on.
to share this information with you now.
Are
Well,
we?
Are we talking about the orange one or are we talking about the green one?
The green one.
It's 17 degrees. It's
You
select
bet.
edge. Yeah.
No. 17 degrees is not a select edge, sir.
14
Is it
degrees
not?
is like that.
14 degrees is a select edge.
Okay, but
That's why the sharpeners we sell are
Hold on a
14
second.
degrees and 20 degrees.
Hold on a fucking second, because it also says 17 degrees on the Grizzly Creek page.
Wait, but does it say select edge?
It says select edge angle, 17 degrees, 34 included. That's what it's saying.
17 degree. Okay, so what does the orange tagged out say? Now, I have to backtrack here to understand.
The orange one says 14, I'm pretty sure.
Well, we're going to find out. No, it says 17 degrees.
Okay, so I think I pointed that out in the orange one when we reviewed it.
Oh,
I think I actually noticed that, and I was like, why are you making it an angled degree and still calling it select edge when you don't have an angled sharpener? I think that actually came up that we were all wrecked when we do
selected it.
videos, so I don't remember it.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
right.
The edge was selected, like Joe said.
as soon as we started talking about the orange one, I'm like, wait a second. So is any of the meat crafters done to a 17? Because their S90s are 14. It's obvious that the S90s are 14, and Paul just walked into the abyss. I'm pretty sure he's going to go hibernate like a grizzly up in those mountains.
That's exactly
So-
what I'm doing.
The meat
That's
crafter.
exactly. I'm digging a hole. Everyone, like off till spring.
No, it's 14 degrees. Its select edge angle is 14 degrees, 28 degrees included.
What's mine?
Oh,
That's
sorry.
what he means. Yeah. Yeah. Yours
What?
is 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours is a 14. Yeah. Correct, sir.
And the orange is probably also 14, but pardon me. Yes, it is 14.
So again,
What the
why
hell's the 17
Come out
degree
with a
shit?
17-degree angled sharpener, you sons of bitches.
Okay, I don't remember a single part of their marketing talking about how the select edge was selecting the correct edge for the task. It was just, nope, we selected this
Select edge is
arbitrary
the
14
trademark
degree
14
angle.
degree angle. Boom.
Yeah, what the hell?
Since when is that orange grabbery red?
That's
That
Mesa
video-
Red. That's the new flavor of the season.
Well,
Is it
that's for the.
accurate?
Well, no, that's for the.
I'm making
That's
shit up. I'm an idiot.
well, no. Actually,
It's-
Mesa Red is the name of the red that they're using for the shootout.
And also the new mini bug out is Mesa Red, even though when you look at them, you're like, that's still kind of orange. But
yeah,
This tagged out looks like it's at Mesa Red.
it
yeah,
totally does.
in the video, it does. The pictures look like it's orange, but the video looks
The
like
pictures
it's all
are.
maced.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, that picture is much closer to reality. Dennis is gonna kill me here in a second.
It's all right. We're on the roll.
Yeah. Okay, so that's super strange. I don't know why.
17
Benchmade.
degrees and not advertising 17 degrees. They haven't
Yeah.
said anything in any videos about
wait,
17 degrees.
No video. There hasn't been a blog post. There hasn't
been a
any kind of
Blade
post on
HQ being, hey,
Instagram.
heads up. There's nothing. Like,
No.
What did the box say for the hidden, the grizzly?
It just said select edge.
it says
didn't-
select edge.
I don't think it
Doesn't say
actually.
degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No, yeah,
Or-
that's pretty much what I was getting to. I was looking down here to see if there was any kind of information about Select Edge at all, but there doesn't look like there's much. Maybe under their FAQ. No.
So,
That's
interesting.
aggravating.
It's interesting. Yeah. You know what's also interesting about this thing, because there's other things to talk about. There's other things. The fact that it says 45. It's good times. It's good times.
Yes.
The weight of it is none of your business. That's
Yeah.
what it is. It's-
As with every other Benchmade these days, apparently. It ain't cheap. I'll just get that out of the way early.
I know this is such a redundant conversation that I have over and over and over again, but bug out pricing.
Yep.
Bug out pricing makes this knife what it is. What are you doing, Paul?
You noticed immediately.
Having fun.
God damn it.
It's a biblically accurate, Paul.
Yeah.
think
Fine. Is this one?
I think
that
Paul's
better?
currently a 17-degree select edge. It's
17 degrees of something, that's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind paying more for more. If we look at what else is available in the market today for S45 VN with this kind of handle treatment, I don't know that there's a lot, honestly. I mean, the obvious comparison, Spyderco with the S45 and the PM2, but I've also maintained for a long time that those are some of the most boring, easy handles to machine.
Well, and the PM2 has no anodizing. It has no sculpting. It has milling on the inside for a compression lock, but no more so than the cutouts for Omega springs and liners on that. Yeah.
So is it worth? I guess the question then becomes: is it worth the price difference for the sculpted handles, relatively speaking? Because that's the biggest material difference between those two particular knives. And I know because that was the first instinct I had, and this is the one that people have asked me about. Between the PM2 and S45 and the tagged out in S45, is it worth that difference?
Hey Joe.
Yeah.
I know me and you have talked about this at one point. In talking about the Para 3 and the Para 3 lightweight, and saying that we wish they made a premium Para 3 lightweight.
Yeah.
This kind of a Para 3 lightweight, like as far as like handle thickness and stuff like that.
Yeah, it gets close in certain ways.
Blade length's 3.5, so you're more in a PM2.
Yeah, They just don't have the PM2 lightweight to as a comparison.
Well, no, that would piss off the Buck 110 guys. Like, no, I'm just kidding.
It all comes back
It
to
all-
the Buck
all
110
comes-
guys.
yeah.
Bastards, man.
I think Benchmade
run
beat
everything. Anyway,
Benchmade beat Spyderco to the punch, in my opinion, on this.
So, yes and no. I mean,
what were you gonna say? I was gonna say exclusives. Exclusives say no to that because there's so many handle configurations that
Yeah.
are more sculpted than just the standard PM2s. You get a lot of things.
exclusives or in aftermarket, you mean?
A little bit of both. You do get
Really?
some things that are not just square slabs on some of the exclusives. Like
I guess I haven't been looking that hard then, because all I see is just kind of flat, kind of bullshit.
And
Yeah.
like I would still say 90% because the manufacturing, even for the company that's making the exclusive. But yeah, they've come out with some shit along the way that is like, I don't know, PM2 OG. I don't even know if he's in my feed anymore. I mean, it's yeah. But as far as variation goes in exclusives, that's probably the guy to look at some of the variations. But there's definitely some stuff in there that
Yeah.
And
That's fair.
aftermarket, definitely. And that was actually going to segue into Flightanium has some tagged out scales.
Yeah.
So you can get titanium tagged out scales with this green or this orange anodized backspacer. And orange
Do they
thumbstud.
sell backspacers?
I do find it somewhat funny that
Why?
this just looks like a bug out scale, because it's not the Lotus pattern. Anyway. It's a little weird looking.
It does the back cutout instead of the top cutout. So that's the only thing. But I'm like, But it still has some contouring in the handle. I think it would be. But that with a, the backspacer, goodness, and S45 all of a sudden puts it into like, Semenza category.
Oh, there you
As
go.
far as list of materials, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be willing to plunk down another, well, what is this, 110 almost American for it, but
Still cheaper than buying an actual Sebenza.
CJ's asking if all of them are Benchmates out there are actually worth the price post butterfly tax. It's because of bug out pricing, sir. And as long as bug outs keep selling, everything else will be based on the price of, if I can get away with plastic candles S30 for $200, everything else is based off of that. And until that market crashes, we're in here for the ride.
yeah, it's problematic because at the end of the day, a bug out is still a good knife.
I own one.
And even as enthusiasts, you should be able to admit that, like, yeah, it's Grivery, Grivex, polymer handles, whatever, but it still works. It's functional, and I don't give a shit about the guys stabbing them into trees and standing on them and stepping on them and breaking them. Like, just using your knife as a knife, you're almost never going to run into a problem with the bug out, because of its design. Omega Springs have their failures. I'm not going to go too far into rehashing that old chestnut, but that aside, it's a good knife. And it is extremely inexpensive for Benchmade to manufacture, so they're going to keep riding this train. I don't see an end in sight, personally. They've already set that bar. People are willing to pay for that kind of handle configuration.
So, pushing a decade and a half of being in the industry and watching blah blah blah, and we had this conversation over 10 years ago about a Griptilian.
Yep.
Man, why would you pay that much money for a plastic handle with 154 cm? They're like, because they've been doing it for a while and they've been doing a pretty good job at it. And when you throw one, the only thing that goes wrong is you got a loose pocket clip. That's not all bad. So the Griptilian held up just like the bug out is holding up. It'll held up real good.
Well.
This is a held up.
How many non-bug outs have you guys sold recently?
What's that?
How many non-bug outs have you sold compared to bug outs in recent history?
Within Benchmade's lineup?
Yeah.
Fair point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of bug outs that I seem to sell.
Yeah, and the other runners are the 940s and the Griptilians. And, I mean, you get the other ones from time to time that are mixed in, but that's the other kind of flagships that you're going to be.
Those guys are their cheaper options, so it kind of makes sense. But at the same time, it feels like people are like, I want to buy a Benchmade, but I can only afford to buy that Benchmade. I can't buy that. I want the Adamas or whatever.
Yeah. This may have been a bit before Paul was getting into pocket knives, but I'm sure Dennis remembers guys recommending like the Delica and the Endura as like the go-to import knives. You're getting into pocket knives and you don't want like cheap stuff. You want like a decent entry level to the high end. You take a Delica, take an Endura, or take a Griptilian from Benchmade. Those were always the ones that are like the most recommended.
I bought a Delica, and then I bought a what's it called? A Griptilian.
Yeah.
I actually went that route.
Yeah, and they're still good knives. They still hold up. Shit, I took this on vacation. Like I had this with me as well. But honestly, most of the time, if I was whipping a knife out to do something, if it wasn't the Swiss Army knife, it was the Endura. It works quite well. The handle looks fantastic for the amount of abuse I put it through over the years. All this to say, I don't think that's really changed as far as the bug out handle is concerned. It's just the markup, I think, is either there has to be some more American competition to help bring that price down, or Benchmade's just going to continue to ride it.
Yeah.
Because looking at the 90s, look at what was it, Gerber, Camillus, and Buck, and how many other American-made brands were doing polymer handles with decent blade steel, like for the time. Everybody was doing it.
So the one thing I will say to you now, though, is when these American companies come up and they're going to challenge any sort of a Benchmade, a Spyderco, a ZT, a Hogue, whatever for American-made materials, a ProTech, a Microtech, or whatever that's out there type of thing. You're now also putting up the fit and finish with any of those American companies, which some of them varied. Again, even Golden Colorado is not
they're
the
not
end all
infallible.
be all. No, it's neither is Benchmade, neither, and no American company is. So you've got the fit and finish that you now had to contend with, at least on the bar of those, if not the imported manufacturers.
Yes.
And some of the Wee knife out there, some of the Riot knives out there, some of the things that the Best Tech knives that are out there, some of the up and comers that if you're going to compete as an American manufacturer nowadays and come out with a price point that might put the Benchmade boys to bed, you better be on par. You're going to get ripped apart. American made with off-centered or poor lockup or blah 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 to try to cut corners, to try to keep costs down, to get underneath a bug out pricing, and they're going to get eaten by sharks compared to a Best Tech, Civivi, Wee knife, QSB, blah blah blah.
And that's just it.
Absolutely. American made only brings you so far.
And that's why
and it gets you the expectation. That's the one thing I was going to say, is the American made gives you the expectation that you better be there. Because if you're not there, you're not going to make it. And Benchmade doesn't set the bar that high in their American made. Neither does Golden Colorado, neither does Oregon, neither does Idaho, right? Like there is, no one's perfect, no one's infallible. But people have that expectation. And you can get away with some hit and miss line lockup sometimes if you're an imported, or your costs are cheap enough, or your blah, blah, blah type of thing.
Right.
But you're swinging with S30 and plastic handles in a USA made category. You better wow to impress, because you're already competing with a heavy hit market.
Yes.
It's the barbecue sauce market in the grocery store.
The only thing that I can say to any of that, really, is the Hogue Deca. You can get a Hogue Deca with Magna Cut and polymer handles, same sort of polymer blend that the Griptilian is using, for 150 USD. There are some heavy hitting contenders out there. The problem is they don't have the market share and they don't have the visibility that Benchmade does. Because guys know Benchmade. If they're outdoor guys, they know Benchmade because it's a bit of a higher end brand. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't.
ubiquitous in the space.
They have such a leg up on the overall market as far as that's concerned. That's kind of where my concern is. So even though yes, there are better options in both build quality and handle and blade material choices theoretically, does it matter if you can't expand into that market in the same way? I don't know that Hogue has the same production capacity that Benchmade does.
There's going to be a tipping point for Benchmade though, where they're going to raise their price so much and not have followed it with quality that people are going to catch on and go, "Why am I going to buy them?" And then you got to scramble and try and get that market share back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it doesn't do well if you look at other knife companies that have tried to scramble back. There's still not a lot positive to say in a lot of cases about those companies without naming names.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other thing I'm noticing as well, and I just was jumping onto some Hogue website and just taking a look and seeing what's out there, blah 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 type of thing, is the other thing with that is that's sweet and that's good and fine. And for those guys who got the Magna Cut Deca, that's good. But how many options are out of stock right here? There's all of them. It's
From
all
Hogue's,
of them.
yeah,
Well,
and that's the
and I
thing,
mean,
and that's what I mean. Like the production capacity, it's just not there compared to Benchmade.
yeah.
Benchmade has
So-
had what 30 years of injection molding. Like they've been doing this since the early 90s. They've got
So
a massive amount of experience doing this kind of work.
even in a premium knife shop, yes, those are out there and they come out there and they come and go type of thing. But a bug out is still there right now to be
Yep.
bought as we talk, right? Like and that's the thing. You can't compete. Like it just keeps on going and going and going. And when you got 8 versions of Magna Cut,
85 versions of it, it's easier to keep at least 1 or 2 in stock.
well, and when you've got 8 versions of Hogue Decas out there in Magna Cut, but every single one of them are sold out. Sweet. Like that's not doing anyone any good type of thing for $150. But you know what is?
That's
Bug out.
that's
Because, yeah.
entirely true. I will say though, even just hopping over to another American retailer, and I'm jumping around looking at just Hogue Decas, not looking specifically for Magna Cut. There's 20 CV variants. They are Magna Cut. I want to say there were a couple other sprint runny guys around here, but there are a lot that are actually add to cart options that are currently available
In other
in other variations. Yeah, so you get Magna Cut with Black Cerakote modified Warncliffe and Flat Dark Earth.
well, and I was saying in other retailers, like North American retailers type of thing. Whereas I was looking on Hogue's website and it's just clearance.
Yeah,
But that
Yeah.
could be because they're at dealers, right? So yeah.
a little bit of that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We're kind of. I feel like we're starting to look at a bit more of a reemergence of polymer handles. Honestly, it it just seems like more and more models are coming about where people actually like them, as opposed to feeling, oh, this feels cheap and plastic. Like there's always people going to say that, but
Joe, shut your whore mouth. It's-
Okay, but look at Spyderco. Look at what they've been doing for the past like 4 years, 5 years. It seems like they've been prepping more and more of their lightweight models.
And you know who I blame? The goddamn bug out again.
But they were doing it before the bug out was even a
I know.
thing. That's the thing. Okay, but to be fair, they have. It does feel like they've ramped up production
Lightweight?
in that area
Dude,
specifically because as a response. But
when Pete came out with the lightweight tenacious video on Cedric and Ada's channel, about losing how many 0.8 and whatever the hell it
12
was.
grams.
so
Yeah.
stupid. Yeah.
That was really the eye opener on like, okay, guys, how ridiculous are we going to be type of thing. And don't get me wrong, the lightweight tenacious has opened the door for many other good things like S35 and M4 to come our way.
Yep,
So
yep.
I embrace that needed to be the gateway to make this all happen. But that was, I think, the opening for the bug out being like, okay, people are just chasing now, right?
Yeah.
Like
The problem for me, I personally don't mind if a knife has polymer handles necessarily. I would like to see some 3D contouring. I'd like to see you taking advantage of the fact that you can pull a lever, or realistically, you have an automatically loaded pallet that
Push it button.
blasts hot. Yeah, exactly.
well, Well,
if
when you
get
said blast hot, I was about to ask it when you pulled out a lever, does steam come out? And from where you were going,
Yeah.
the answer was probably going to be yes.
Yes, 100%. Steam comes out, knife comes out. You have you got a set of 50 or 80 handle pairs. Whereas to machine one G10 handle scale, for the profile, is probably gonna take you I don't know, high speed machines 12 minutes, 15 minutes for a complete set of handles, fully 3D contoured and machined and finished. There's no comparison in terms of the ease of manufacture here. The problem is when you handle a lot of these, they're designed so poorly that they feel like crap in your hands.
So I'm saying when you're competing against overseas manufacturer, where they are putting the time and effort into CNCing stuff, you're going to lose that market share.
Yeah, but I mean, you're paying much lower cost of living wage. Yeah. There's that whole conversation too.
Yeah. And honestly, with what's coming up now with micartas and G10s, I think everything is just at that we can bang it out for pennies price nowadays, right? So no. I don't know about plastic handles making a comeback necessarily. I think they'll always have their place, and I think with the family that they've had in Spyderco's and Kershaws and whatever, I think there will always be a market for those. But I don't know about necessarily a comeback because you have all these imported companies that are just pushing the crap out of thick, heavy micarta. So, and hipsters like them. So,
yeah, there's that. Hipsters like us.
Hey, man. I've always said micarta is one of my favorite materials, and that's before the handlebars took it. These sons of bitches. Fucking waxy sons of bitches. Anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so
we were gonna dive into a whole other topic tonight, but it's getting fairly late.
I think we should probably just cut and run, and that topic might be just a next week topic if we need it to be.
I think it definitely could be.
Sounds good to me. I'm A-okay with that.
So, yeah, to sum it up, favorites. I think we said most, least to most, and I mean the tagged out.
If we're not thinking about price, that tagged out is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. As a guy who's probably not going to buy any one of them, I like the tagged out the most.
It's again, what's in that price point, and there's a lot of heavy hitters for good option knives in that $300 US price point, that it's hard to say that it's nope, if I'm going to spend my $300 American anywhere, it's going to be on this knife. I don't know if it would be or not. Even if you're looking at American made, like you saying Hogue Dexys and blah blah blah, for 300, there's a lot more than that all of a sudden out there. And when you're looking at imported, and if you're okay with looking at imported, and just I'm okay with looking at imported, 300 gives you some fun.
If you're looking for Hogue made and paying more money, you can get a D2 version of one of their knives from CRKT for $200 American.
Yeah, there's that.
I'd like to sign up, but CRKT also changed their website, and I don't know where to go anymore.
Yeah, no, that's not there.
Forget it.
I'd like to purchase an overpriced knife, sir. Where would I go? They're like, we can't help you. Good luck.
Cutting Edge Cutlery Co. No, I also sell.
Yeah, there you
go. Whoa!
We also sell some reasonably priced stuff too, but look, if I had my pick of anything on the market, I don't know that the tagged out would be where I would send my money for 300 either. But honestly, out of the three that we've talked about tonight, I like me some S90V, but that tagged out feels super nice in hand. The blade is nice and thin. It's all the good stuff we talked about in the original review.
And Benchmade makes a sharpen. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, easy maintenance. Oh wait, no, it's slightly more complicated.
Just put it on the guided feel. Just put it on the angle.
Just do it by eye. It's fine.
Just put it on the Lansky. Oh, that's what you get. You get a goddamn Lansky. No, I mean the Workshop does 17, doesn't it?
It
You can tell it's
does.
7. You can tell
So
it's 17.
the professional version of the work sharp actually comes with an angle finder, which I find super funny, and very necessary, I think. But they still have the little label on the height adjuster, so it's like don't pay attention to that too closely.
I think
Those
you can like
numbers
dial
are
it in with that
made up.
number and then like finish with the angle
Yeah,
finder.
I really wish they would tell you that. Hey, those numbers are calibrated for blades that are like
This
this
specific
measurement
length.
is X, and like okay, cool, that gets me roughly where I need to be. But they don't provide that information, or at least they didn't with mine. Maybe they updated their manuals. Who knows?
They didn't tell you a damn thing.
No, that's okay. You could do what Pete does over at Cedric and Ada. Just use your phone. There's an angle finder app you can get for your phone where it. I think I've got an Android, and I think the app is literally just called Protractor.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Show that up. But there you go.
there you go. Very
That's better than
straightforward.
what I have.
Yeah, it actually reads points of a degree. It's very nice. Yeah, almost there. It's all backwards. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good
What's
stuff.
the icon look like there, Joe?
It looks like a protractor.
And it says protractor.
It actually is just literally called protractor.
If it says more words, it's not a protractor.
Yeah. White background, little wooden protractor. I would show you on camera, but it keeps blowing out every time I try to show you. So
Good times. All right, gentlemen. Just after 8:30, I think we can call it.
I think so.
Thank you to the cuttingedgecutleryco.com. You know, the website especially, apparently, and not the 4 locations. I don't know why. That's who got the shout out this time. Screw you, Devin. Do a better job.
Wait, screw you. He got the shout out.
I know. But what he doesn't have is an Undertaker Bowie on our website. Come on, get your shit. Anyway, yeah. And CJ's already kind of, shouting us out for being the better company if you're not buying used. Nice save, by the way, there on the comments. So thanks for that.
Terrible.
Well,
yeah, thanks to the folks following us on Instagram. Apparently, we got 2 new followers this week. It's weird. But we appreciate you guys.
we appreciate you so much. So
Look,
much, in fact.
I posted things to our stories recently.
You did.
I posted a couple memes.
They were throwbacks. When Fist cared.
I didn't even look. Oh man.
I didn't even look. I don't follow the Pokey Factor. Come on.
To be fair, I haven't really spent a lot of time on my phone this last week.
I posted what was it? Disgruntled Joe?
Okay.
That one right there.
That look. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That one right there.
Yeah, that's the face.
And Dennis explaining enthusiasm with the white chalkboard and all the strings in the yard. And
nice.
Yeah.
It was a hard way to get to 7. But I made it. I got there eventually.
Only had to call to Cthulhu twice with your string.
I didn't mean to the second time.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry, bro. I thought I hung up.
It was a misdial. It was
pocket dial.
Pocket dial with a string. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you to everyone who continues to subscribe to us and contribute on Patreon. Everything is going back to you as a thank you. Christmas 2023 is very much a real thing now. So
quickly becoming 2024.
There's possibly some Wednesday conversations that might have to happen here, guys. I'm just saying. Coming up here soon.
I might churn up a little bit early.
But regardless, thanks again, guys. Every bit that you've contributed to the channel is just going back to you guys as a thank you for what we do week after week after week. So That was 3 weeks. You only get 3 out of 4. So
That's okay. I'm sure they understand.
anyone else? We thanking anyone else? YouTube, like, subscribe, follow, share, something. I don't know. There's a bunch of things you can do nowadays.
Do those things. Come join us in the
Ring the
live chat.
bell. Is that
so
still
we
a thing? Can you ring a bell?
Yeah.
Ring it.
Yeah, there's bells. There's ring the bells.
Yeah, ring your bell. God.
Ring the gong.
Watch us make fun of American companies doing American company things.
Well, you know, I'm not biased. I make fun of all companies, regardless of where they come from.
Yes. Equal opportunity insulting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wait. I haven't even got onto Arnaud Bernard yet.
Onto. Oh, okay.
No, it's random company that from a random country that we've never dealt with before. Where's Arnaud Bernard even from? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Who the hell is Arnaud Bernard?
They're nice. They're overpriced. Anyway, let's continue on with life. All right, guys. We are gonna see you next week. Is that a thing? Do we think that's a thing? I think that's a thing.
I think we see them.
I think we'll see you people, not physically, because that's weird. Get out of my basement. But
like,
yeah.
like emotionally, get out of my basement.
Like, yeah. in a community feels kind of way. It's
Get out of my basement.
All right, guys. I hope you have a great night. We will see you again next week, 7:15 Mountain Standard Time. I am who I am. I'm Dennis Fibers.
I am Darren Joe.
I'm xl.ca.
Thanks again for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time.
Not actually joining us, because get out of my basement. But
Yeah,
please.
Get out of my basement.
Get out of my basement.